We started with a figure ground diagram to begin exploring the space in and around our site.
This is a graphic representation of the neighborhoods that intersect with our site.
The shaded area represents the site as stipulated by the Heinz competition.
We modified the parameters of the Heinz competition by including the greenway, the cemetery, and the bridge.
This diagram shows a predominant building use of the buildings in and around our site.
The proposed urban plan includes mixed-use space, more park space, as well as key destinations.
This diagram shows the current roadways around the site.
In this diagram, we closed some of the less traversed streets in order to increase the ease of pedestrian traffic.
This is the current transit plan, including the tram and current bus stops within our site.
We added in an additional tram line to link our site with the community college to the north, as well as the New Orleans Art Museum.
The space syntax diagram shows the density of traffic.
This next diagram shows the density of pedestrian traffic on our site. Meanwhile, this other diagram shows the difference between public and residential pedestrian traffic, with blue being residential and red being public.
This next diagram shows the sun throughout the year.
This wind diagram shows that most of the wind predominantly comes from the southeast. Commercial area.
Mixed use.
Residential.
The church.
Louis Armstrong Museum.
And the graveyards.
After looking at the site in section, we wanted to avoid strong contrasts in height and created an elevational curve throughout our buildings.
On this typology diagram, the red lines represent a modern influence on the surrounding area, which is more traditional in its architectural style, represented by the blue lines. One of the goals of our project was to eliminate noise from the site, which mainly emanated from the highway.
To make a stronger connection between the spaces both visually and physically, we added openings throughout the buildings.